Hello. This is me. I'm Jenna. My ridiculous photo. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Talk about cult and reach the family. So I just moved to Berlin like 6 months ago, and I didn't know the family at all until they asked me to speak. And I was like, all right, I'll do this because it's probably like kind of small. I can practice. And then I agreed to it, and then I had like 7 people send me the event being like, you're speaking at this thing? I'm coming. And I was like, people actually know this organization. Shit, okay. So I'm here, and I'm a little nervous, but I'm super excited to be here and talk to you about brand and storytelling. So this is me. A little bit of background about me. I grew up, is anyone from the US here? Okay, there's a few people. I grew up in the great flyover state of Utah, and then I studied communication there, and I worked in my first job at a marketing agency. It was a massive company doing marketing for companies like big corporations like AT&T and Comcast. And then I got the chance to leave Utah. So I left, moved to San Francisco, joined a tech PR agency doing PR for WordPress, NetSuite, Oracle, and then various other startups. And it was at this job that I fell in love with the idea of community, working with WordPress. And I learned the importance of storytelling and building communities. So I was then approached by this little German startup called EyeEm. And I was super impressed by the community aspect of the company. So I decided to join doing consumer communications in the US. And as all startup jobs, it grew incredibly fast, including a move to New York City. So then I moved to New York with the company, and I was there for a while building the brand and doing PR for the company. And then about 6 months ago, they finally talked me into coming over to headquarters in Berlin. So I'm here now. EyeEm, if some of you, it looks like you know what it is, but EyeEm started as a photo community. So just as Tanj was talking about, it actually was a community before it was a company. So the community started in 2010, and the 4 co-founders are all German, all not from Berlin, but they all lived in Berlin when they started the company. In 2010, they started the community by doing one of the world's first mobile photography competitions. And this was like at the boom of mobile photography when the iPhone 3G just came out, and people were actually starting to take mobile photography a little bit more seriously. So they hosted this competition, had 5,000 people participate, and they were shocked that this many people participated. And then they decided to do an exhibition. So this photo is the exhibition they did with the photos in an U-Bahn station because they couldn't afford to exhibit at the art fair next door. So that's kind of how the community was born. And it started from 5,000 and today has grown to 22 million photographers on the platform. And the actual company itself didn't start till 2011. So it was a community before they actually built a product around it. And it was because of this community that they realized there was a real need for this type of thing. It was also around the same time Instagram started. So this bottom photo is from the EyeEm Awards exhibition from last year. You can see it grew up a bit over the years, but the awards are something that we've kept from day one to pay homage to this original photo competition that the guys did, and this has been a huge brand moment for us in building the community and keeping them. So the growth from 5,000 to 22 million, I'll share some of my opinions and our learnings as to how this happened. First, this doesn't have so much to do with storytelling, but it is an important thing to talk about, and it's nurturing and listening to your users. So it sounds really silly and obvious, but I think it's important to keep two-way communication between you and your audience. And, point there. So some of the things that we've done are real-life events. We've kept that from the very beginning. The photo on the right is a meetup we hosted a couple years ago in New York. The bottom photo is from the EyeEm Awards last year. The guy right here he was the selected photographer of the year, and he's very happy, as you can see. And the top photo is an interesting one. It's a Facebook group that was actually started by our users to talk about selling on our marketplace. So I actually didn't explain this, but the community, how we've monetized it is we've grown into a marketplace and content creation for companies. So a lot of people are really interested into how they can sell, what releases mean on photos, why isn't my photo selected for market, why wasn't it selected for Getty. So they have these conversations in this group, and it's some of the most active users. And we actually have a presence in this group as well. So I'm in it, our C-level executives are in it, and we talk to these people, and we tell them, we're very transparent with them, we tell them when things are going to be delayed or when there's a new feature coming out, and I think this is really important to just have this honest two-way communication with your users in order to grow. This is one of my favorite things we've ever done for the community, and this is the year that we launched our market in 2015. We sent to our top, I think, 200 users, we sent them a print of the first photo they had ever sold on market with a card for Christmas. So this was nice, it was really well received. I want to do it again, so maybe we'll do it again. And to go more along the lines of storytelling, I think this is where we're at with brand marketing in 2019, and it's identify the stories that you want to tell and identify your brand values and align with other brands and organizations that match that. So for EyeEm, what's the story we want to tell? Is it, we have photos, buy them, we want to shoot your next photo shoot? No, that's not a story, that's a business goal. So the stories are, we love photographers, we want to accelerate them in their work, and we love photography at its core. We care about visual representation in photos as well, in marketing and advertising. So, for example, this is a Google search for images of women. I did this last week. Do you guys notice anything about these photos? Just shout it out if you notice anything. Stock photos? Okay. They all look the same. They're all white except one. They're all very conventionally pretty. And the keywords at the top, you probably can't see this, but the keywords are most beautiful, pretty, beach, and pregnant. Those are the first 4 keywords that come up. This was last week that I did this. So, hello dog. So we started something last year because we've seen that this is an issue in every aspect. It's not only gender, it's families, it's religion, it's mental health, it's disabilities, and how they're represented in imagery. So we started something called Not Your Cliche, and this is our movement to sort of subvert stereotypes in imagery. And women is just one of the aspects that we've focused on. So this is some of the imagery that comes from EyeEm, and this is something that we push our community to do, and we partner with other organizations to try and push this message as well. So this year we partnered with International Women's Day as the official image partner. We shot their brand campaign, we did a photo competition together, and we did a collection that we sell on our platform that 20% of the proceeds go to WAGS, which is a charity that International Women's Day supports. So, but what's interesting about this campaign is this did not cost us money, and this did not cost them money. We were not paid for this, and we did not pay them. It was fully a branding exercise. And I think this can be hard to explain to maybe an executive or someone that you have to explain, we're spending resources on something that we're not gonna make money from. Maybe, we might get sales, we're not sure. This was a total test for us, and it definitely paid off. Our community loved it, and our traffic, we received from some of the most qualified traffic we've ever received on our site, according to our data team. So I was very excited about that. And something else that goes along with storytelling is inserting your brand into relevant conversations with conviction. Have an opinion about something. Stand for something. Don't just sit back trying to avoid bad press. Have an opinion, because this is 2019 and people give their money to causes and they give their money to brands that they align with. One of my absolute favorite campaigns last year, this is a US brand called Billy. They're very young. It's only about 2 years old. They are kind of like a Dollar Shave Club for women. And they, in 2018, this was the first female razor brand to ever show female body hair in advertising, which was crazy that it just happened last year. They did a beautiful campaign. It was this really nice landing page, video, and in the end, the message was not, we have razors, we want you to buy them. It was, look, we understand that you're women and you still have hair too, and if you want to shave, cool, we're here for you. If you don't, that's fine too, we understand. That's the message they put out, and they nailed it. And this is just a few press clippings that they got from this campaign. It was really well done, and this is just a few of them. They had so much press. It was really, really nice. But I know some of you are not probably working all on B2C stuff, so I wanted to share a B2B example as well. A company that's also really nailing it in the B2B space. This is not working. Oh, there we go. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, they're also a US-based company, competitor to Amazon Web Services, so that might help you understand. They sell IT infrastructure, so it's like really boring shit. But it's not sexy. But they are nailing it when it comes to brand storytelling, and just because you're talking to business people doesn't mean you're not still talking to people. They still have hearts, they still care about different issues. And this company, among a lot of other things they've done, one of my favorites was they created a documentary around research they were doing for a cure for Alzheimer's. Super emotional. I think it can really relate to a lot of people who have experiences with this. And they're not selling like pharmaceuticals, they're not selling medical devices, like they're selling IT infrastructure. So they're really, really killing it when it comes to getting inside people's hearts. Something that a quote from the chief brand officer of this company that I wanted to share, she said, "Everyone assumes that when you talk to a business person, all they care about is performance. When we talk to customers, we want to make sure we convey the soul of the company. But not everybody has the budget of an HPE. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, including us. We don't have the same budget. So what do you do in that case?" This is something you've probably all heard in every single startup presentation you've ever heard, is get creative and scrappy. But it's true, you have to do what you can with what you have. And I think that EyeEm in particular, I joined when the company was 4 years old, so I was not there in the early days. But they did this incredibly well and still do it well. In the beginning, we had meetups, which we still do today. But these are some of the old photos from meetups that we had, and these were all done by users, but we supported them with this because we have such a global user base. We had to equip them with swag and help them kind of plan things, but most of all, they pretty much did it on their own. There's one in Tokyo, in Leeds, in LA, and Seattle. And I think there's like 150 cities that this happens in. But what's important about this to mention too is that this also was never something we've monetized. It's always just been a brand experience and an important brand moment. And I think that's something important to note, is that you can't just tie revenue to everything you do. But we've been lucky enough that this has paid off, this community aspect has paid off for us. And now we've had Canon, the camera brand, come to us and say, hey, you guys are killing it with your events and your brand really seems to love you. Can you do this for us? So they are now funding these types of events. And we're doing various workshops once a month. People get to come learn from somebody from a big brand. So we bring in also another brand. The one on the top right is ASICS, and we did this in Berlin in January. Then we did one with Sennheiser in Vienna. This was street photography with no brand. And this one was with a brand called PB0110 in Munich just last week. So it works, and people will notice, and brands will notice, and the brands are receiving this very well, and our community is receiving this very well, and the community has now grown up into being able to experience these things that feel more grown up for us as well. So the last thing I want to say is another quote from this HPE woman, because she's amazing. Stop thinking the old way. Stop pushing ads in front of people, expecting them to behave the way you want them to, and start pulling them in through their hearts and minds, and see how quickly your business grows. And that is all.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Anybody have a
I
question?
feel like I talked really fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was wondering about the 5,000 followers you mentioned earlier. How did they gather the followers? Could you elaborate on that a bit?
In the very beginning, yeah, it was all word of mouth. So they just spread the word of the competition, and they really didn't it was social, and that was it. There was no way for them to get it out, but yeah.
Thanks a lot for the
Thank
talk.
you.
Que la famille